if you talk to somebody for an hour a day in math, are they your friend? What if you've known somebody for your entire life, but you only talk to them once every few months? Are they your friend? I've been talking to you for about 15 seconds now. Are we friends? The reality is that everybody is going to have a different answer to these questions because it's hard. It's hard to tell when somebody has become our friend. Society has this infatuation with labels. It seems to be human inclination to try and make sense of our world by putting different people into categories. But at least with romantic relationships, there's the whole proposal element. A clear-cut moment in which two people define who they are to each other. But with friendships, it's kind of trickier. You can't just ask somebody, hey, are we friends? Because it either seems like you were doubting the connection you ever had or that you were fabricating something out of nothing. Friendship seemingly comes out of nowhere. It's this elusive mutual understanding that you and somebody else just are friends. But how are we supposed to know when we reach that point with somebody if it makes it weird to ask them? And that is what I set to find out. When does an acquaintance become a friendship? Naturally, I turned to my own friends to try and think of the answer. These are my best friends. I've known them since we were in kindergarten, and now that we're juniors, we spent 12 years together. So I hardly know when or how I met them, let alone the moment we became friends. So I asked them the same question, hoping that somebody else would know the answer. But to my surprise, they too didn't know. The best answer I got was that one day we went down the slide together in kindergarten, and here we are. Though nostalgic, this wasn't quite the answer I was looking for. I wanted a definitive answer to my question. I wanted a definition. And so I did my own reflection and a little Googling, and I came up with 3 prototype moments and 1 ultimate conclusion, and I'm going to share all 4 with you today. Moment 1 is when they're able to have your best interests at heart. I think that when somebody cares about you, they're going to show it in any way possible. When I was in elementary school, I was a lot shyer than I am now. But one day in 5th grade, my friend Kiana asked me to join an improv team with her. And I was extremely reluctant, but as much as I was reluctant, Kiana was persistent. And so she begged, and eventually I caved. Without improv, without Kiana pushing me to my limits, I don't think I would be up here speaking to you all today. My friends are the reason why I'm involved in so many of the activities that I am, and it's great knowing that you have somebody in your back corner pushing you to try new things. And that shows that they care about you. But I also think that this kind of care can come through critique. I sent this picture to my friend Austin last year for an English project. I expected for him to tell me, yeah, it's great, Ellie. But instead, he asked me, Ellie, why do the buildings look like that? Why do they look funky? And he immediately sent me this reference guide so that I could actually get my perspective correct. Anybody can tell you that what you're doing is great. Anybody can compliment you. Anybody can say nice things to you, but only a real friend will tell you what you need to improve so that you can be the best version of yourself. And moments like these, moments when you can tell that somebody cares, is a moment in which you can tell that they are your friend. Moment 2 is when they're able to act selflessly for you. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that friendship is about exchanges and favors. It's not transactional in any way. But life often seems like a big competition. Everybody is trying to be the best, or at least better than the next person. But I don't think friends see each other that way. Friends are able to lift each other up without always getting personal gain for themselves. It's like when my friend Jaden spent hours upon end tutoring us for chemistry and even editing a chemistry extra credit video for us. At a school that prioritizes grades, Jaden was already ahead of the pack. He had his A+. But instead, he chose to dedicate all that time to helping us, his friends, when he seemingly gained nothing. At a hyper-competitive school such as Whitney High School, there's the notion that somebody else has to lose for you to win. And oftentimes, the reality is that people will choose winning over their so-called friends. But real friends like Jaden don't see each other that way. They realize that they can win while helping others win too. And we all really appreciate what Jaden did for us, but I want to emphasize that selflessness doesn't always correlate with large actions. Selflessness can be something as simple as my friend Amanda giving me extra cookies because she knows my dad loves to eat them, and she wants to make sure that I get at least one, even if it means that she has to save a few less for herself. And these actions, conscious or not, are somebody's way of showing you that you mean something to them. And if you mean something enough to somebody that they're going to give up something of their own, time, resources, opportunities to help you, then that person is your friend. Moment 3 is when you're just able to have a good time together. And I know that sounds vague and general, but I strongly believe that when you're with your friends, it's not about the activity you're doing, it's about the people you're with. My friends once went to Home Depot. It's an interesting choice, to say the least. None of us like construction or anything relating to Home Depot, but we still went. Home Depot is where the quirky home renovator adults spend their time. Kids are supposed to hang out at the park, at the mall, at the town center, anywhere but Home Depot. But nevertheless, we still made the experience our own. We smelled the flowers in the nursery, we took pictures with the home appliance displays, we laughed at the names of paint samples, we transformed an adult's playground into our own. We changed a mundane experience into one of our favorite memories, which is something we couldn't have done with anybody else. If the people you're with are able to make you laugh, smile, cackling on the floor, stomach hurting, tears streaming down your face, they're able to re-energize you in even the most boring scenarios, and those people are your friends. These were all key moments in defining a friendship, but they were still just the prototypes, preliminary models to the ultimate conclusion, because I realized that you can't define a friendship from a single experience. It's not an aha realization. When we look at popular tropes of friendship, we see the same patterns. Let's take the characters from Winnie the Pooh, for example. Pooh and Tigger are the ultimate optimists, while Eeyore is basically the definition of a pessimist. They set the standard that friends have to complement each other, that together friends make the perfect whole. But the thing about tropes is just that. They're just tropes. They don't represent reality, because in reality, friendship isn't confined within this box. Friendship, like all our values, is fluid. It's molded by our experiences. The best way I can describe friendship to you is through the process of growing a flower. First, you have to till the soil, be emotionally ready to make friends. Then, you have to plant the seeds, make new connections, reach out to old ones. When the seeds are planted, sometimes weeds will arise, problems will come about, and you need to do hard things, have hard conversations to get rid of them. And when the flower does grow, some grow fast, some grow slow, some never grow, and others die. And all of that is okay, because every individual has their own perception of what a beautiful flower is, and that is what makes all of our gardens extremely unique. Although I didn't find a universal definition for the moment in which somebody becomes your friend, I did find a universal definition of friendship. It actually comes from My Little Pony. And when I was younger, I thought the slogan was super corny, but now that I'm older, I realize that Twilight Sparkle was right all along. Friendship is magic. It's this unexplainable, elusive, powerful phenomenon that everybody wants, but not everybody can have. And like magic, good friends are hard to find, and I'm so lucky to have found so many throughout my life. So when you find that special bond, when you connect with somebody, don't worry about putting a label on it. Don't worry about finding out when the flower of friendship bloomed, but rather cherish the moments you have together and fiercely protect your flower garden with all the magic that you cultivate. Thank you.